Hi friends, welcome to episode 20 of Biting Cats Let's Elden Ring, a comfortable playthrough of Elden Ring for beginners, focusing on an intelligence, i.e. magic build. Why magic? Uh, Magic has a reputation for being an easier mode of play in From Software games, and I think that's true for the most part. There are some kind of common mistakes new players make with their magic characters, and we're avoiding those. The biggest is that people, let's look at our stats before we get moving. The biggest of these is that people skimp on vigor, which is where you get your health. In fact, they skimp typically on everything except for their damage stat, which is intelligence. And so it's kind of a glass cannon build, which doesn't really, that's not a good idea for a beginner. It's true, it's great doing a lot of damage, but you're essentially doing no hit runs on later bosses, which, I mean, if you're looking for an easy mode, that's not a good way. It's not a good way to go about it. Last night I said we'd do the Forbidden Lands, which is this incredibly atmospheric area here, kind of the Northern Lights kind of effect and low visibility. But I've changed my mind. We're gonna go do Mohg first. At least we're gonna try to do Mohg, and if we don't survive or we feel we can't do it, we can always turn back, right? But I want to do Mohg first. And the main reason for that is I just think we're ready. I think we can do it. It's also got a ton of runes. And let's talk a little bit about where our character is. We're about to sit on endurance. We can wear... What I would like to do is be able to wear every scaled non-helmet piece of armor. So that just leaves the gauntlets at this point. There's no real rush for that. We've got a 55 poise, which is awesome. And, we're doing great for a magic-based character with that poise and that damage resistance. So the endurance is probably only one more point between now and the end of the game. It's not a super high priority. The mind is too low. We need to get it to 25. The vigor ultimately needs to go all the way to 60. And intelligence as high as we can go, up to 80. Now, realistically, something could change, but we've probably only got, if we're lucky, 38 levels between now and the end of the game. They're just getting more and more expensive. We'll be hitting 100,000 per level very soon. So when you do the math, we're not going to put 20 of those on vigor to get to 60. That's just not realistic. We will put 5 on mind. We will put 1 on endurance. Again, realistically, are we going to be able to put 26 on intelligence? Probably not. So we'll see how things go. What I know I want to do is I want to get intelligence to 60, a natural 60 without our talisman. But once we get to 55, we can start using the scepter. We're going to start putting stuff into mind, mainly because we're going to switch from the comet shard to the actual comet, which costs more. It does a lot more damage. So it's worth it for us. But that's where things are going. So about going down this hill, we're going to kill all these things. As you can see, we can now one-shot them, which is nice. With the projectile, mind you. Now, once we do enough of this, these red guys are going to start coming. And they're bad news. You saw me get killed by a few of those. Back when we were getting our plus 10 weapon. Especially the spiked rolling thing. Those are... There it is. And if it catches you at the wrong time, you're toast, basically. It's lucky they don't just spam it, because if they did, you would just die. You'd never even be able to fight them. Because they hit you so many times, they break your guard. Sometimes it just makes sense to charge one. Although you saw that. This is actually kind of a bummer because we're gonna need some flasks. This is just the start of the level. So, okay, we've cleared the hill. I think there might be a rune up here. The reason why I wanted to kill everything is because I wanted to look around. Was I wrong? I really... No? Probably one of these guys is lying on it. Oh well. Maybe we'll see it next time. We definitely won't be killing these guys again. That's a one-time thing. There's a 6. It won't be too long before we can buy 6s. One decision is whether we want to kill these guys or not. They can do that little rolling donut. What I like to do is actually... Oh shit. You believe that? So that's not going well at all. Wow, everybody. This is terrible. So if you're watching this and you really are new, this is much harder than this usually is, okay? So we may actually need to rebalance our flasks. This is so ugly. Hero's Rune, those are awesome. I may leave when I get enough to level up. There's like 3 of these little caves. Swarm of Flies is like a truly excellent, really, really excellent incantation. It does blood damage and it really kind of stuns or makes or flinches some enemies more than you would expect, actually. This is something we don't need, but whatever. Unless I misremember, Blood Tax, that's, you know, an arcane Blood of War or Ash of War. I think we're going to get ambushed when I take this. But it's our 9. Why is that important? Oh, shit. Oh, good. We stopped his roll. That's important because we don't have a 9. So now we can finally upgrade our staff to 9. We can't use it yet, but when we level up again, we will. Just check and see if there's another cave. That's the one we did. So we've done all the caves. As you can tell, this thing over here is kind of ridiculous. Let's just circle around here. There's an ambush over here. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pop my flask, and then we'll try to clear this little area here. I'm going to start with the one in back. Whew. Oh, shit. So this is pretty chaotic, but you know, again, this is why we pop the flask, and so if something goes wrong, you know, we can keep going. Heroes Rune 3, so we're really cleaning up on these runes, right? It's awesome. We do have enough to level up. But let me see if I can trigger that ambush while I've still got the flask active. It is fairly easy to interrupt that big spiky roll thing. Let's see, I'm still looking for that ambush. There it is. So let's clean these guys out. The best thing you can do is keep moving and keep drinking from your flask. It's pretty wild, isn't it? My goodness, everybody, that's intense, right? But our flask is still going, right? So we were never in danger of losing anything. You know, as always, you want to make sure you're taking advantage of that capability because it's so powerful. It'll keep you out of so much trouble. Unfortunately, we're out of healing. Well, we just got one more, but I'm drinking it already. Now, back there is a different area where you can fight a killer bloodbird and some other stuff. And I can't remember what the loot is. If we go back there, we're going to go back there when we have nothing to lose. Not now. That might be everything we can do right here. So that said, let's go ahead and get our staff going. There we go. 55, the magic number. Let's sort chests when we get our staff out. Man, we've got so much stuff to put away. I'm going to sell duplicates, so these daggers can definitely be sold. And so can this Erd Steel. If you look over to the right, you can see we already have them. You can sell one of these. I definitely am not going to sell the cane sword or the coated sword, or the executioner sword, or the stitcher. Curved great swords, omen cleaver, onyx lord. Yeah, all these are unique, so we won't be selling anything. I like to have a complete collection. One of these days we'll do something with this harpoon, but I don't know when. It looks like we have an extra falchion, so that's all stuff we'll get rid of. Oh, I forgot to grab the regal scepter. So when we start, this isn't going to scale as well as like a plus 25 glintstone staff. Problem with the 25 glintstone staff is that's so many resources, as I've said before. I'd rather just kind of do better. I'd rather do significantly better than do the best until we reach 70 intelligence and then start doing second best. You know what I mean?
I need to do better
So
than this. This will never kill them. Oh, don't pay me. Just lay out it.
here it is. Should be able to go all the way up to 9. We don't have, can't go to 10 yet. Let's go ahead and compare. So this has a 244 scaling, and this has 274. So that's a decent difference. And our intelligence points are going to be worth more going up. So we have finally, at long last, upgraded our staff. Which means the other ones can go. Lots of things can go, actually. We're going to keep the pulley bow now. Let's go ahead and dump those duplicate weapons. I just like having a tidy inventory.
I took you, Mama, to lay out your own.
This is also a good time to use some 5s on this. Get a couple of points of guard boost out of it. And we could keep going with 6. Let's just keep going. Let's use our 6s. We're about to be able to buy those. Not ready to use 7s, mind you. So that'll give us like 4 more points of guard boost or something. Okay, this is a good loadout. How many runes we have? 36. Kind of an awkward number. But whatever. Let's go try to fight Mohg. Mohg is not a super tough fight if you have the right stuff. His ranged attacks aren't really very long range. The big issue with him is that he has this kind of area of danger around him. He's always kind of throwing out blood. And if you're close to him, it's probably going to get on you. It's like blood flame, so it burns you, but it also builds up your bleed, which can get pretty nasty, as you might imagine. sometimes it can feel like our little sword projectile just doesn't have the range. But the thing about the sword projectile is it afflicts frostbite, which gives you a 20% damage bonus. So, if you do want to hang back and do magic, try to get frostbite on them with the sword first, and then start doing magic, because you're just going to do so much more damage. While this isn't a gimmick fight, there is a gimmick to it. You probably remember I told you we needed something from Eleonora. That's this purifying crystal tear. He puts this curse on you, and if you don't have a way to resist it, it does massive damage, and I think it heals him at the same time. It's very hard to tank it. You'll basically use several flasks trying to do that, but it doesn't do anything at all if you've drunk from this flask. So that's obviously something we want to get into. I'm going to give ourselves another healing flask. I really felt like we were running a little too tight. Mohg, like Margit, who we recently fought, is an omen. I mean, one of those kind of accursed entities with the horns all over them. So that's two demigods that are also omens. Mohg wanted to be consort to Mikola, and did this weird stuff where he stole him out of a cocoon and tried to treat him with blood, but Mikola seems to be dead as a result of all this stuff. So did Mohg kill him, or I'm sure we'll learn more about it, but the point is we're going to see Mikola's apparently dead arm hanging out of like a cocoon. It's worth noting that this place is where the DLC is going to start. So Mohg and the fate of Mikola are all kind of important to this in ways we'll probably understand better as the release gets closer. I like to send this back down, but it drops pretty fast, so if you're going to do that, you need to sprint toward that little lip. As a note, I'm going to be skipping the video because I think your flask ticks away while the video plays. But you can see it on YouTube. The other option you have is that you could just die and come back and have it not play. Hey, you know what? That's what I'll do. We'll just take our chances, but be aware of this, that you may not want this to be your actual run.
Dearest Mikola, you must abide alone a while. Welcome, honored guest, to the birthplace of I
Alright. As always, we want to get our buddy. It does hit pretty hard. Good, we got the frostbite on. So if you did want to do magic at this point, it's not a terrible idea. He's surrounded by fire, otherwise I would try to... That sphere around us is the curse, and he's healing himself. Oh man, our thing expired. So this isn't going the way I expected at all. Oh, this isn't working, guys. It's the blood. We can't, yeah. But you probably saw my little buff wore off. And so did my my runes thing. It took too long. Oh no, my runes thing worked. It was just my curse prevention. So that's okay. Let's try again. So our shield is actually doing a pretty good job of tanking that stuff. Alright, good. We got the ice on him. You could do a little backstab on him. That's going to be nice. I'm going to re-up my... The nice thing is he spends time doing that curse. So I think one mistake last time was we didn't keep the pressure on. Yeah. Once you start letting him run the fight, it's over. So that was much easier. Instead of being careful, just keep the frostbite on. So we get a rune. Look at that, we get 500,000 runes. That includes our 20% bonus, which is, definitely want to be wearing your gold scarab for fights like that. But that's incredible, isn't it? That's such a huge amount of runes. That's a game changer. Not just figuratively, but literally. So I said we wanted to go to 60, and we do. So there's that. I said one more in endurance, so there's that. And then we're going to put one in vigor. That's my choice, is going that route. Now at this point, we're done with endurance. So vigor, we want to get mine to 25. And we'll just have to see about intelligence actually in vigor, how far we can go with that. Let's switch this. Nice, we can actually go to Lionel's gauntlets, which are 2 more. Those look ugly though, don't they? Wonder if we. I'm sure we can't get away with the pants. You know what we might be able to do? We might be able to. Let's see if we can alter the. Let's see if that works. Yeah, we're still on medium load, and we no longer have the altered scale, so we've got our cape now. That's good. We are looking good, y'all. So that's it for us in endurance. We've reached kind of our end state for the playthrough. Get a little more mind, and we should be good to go. Speaking of mind, let's go way back to the academy so that we can get the comet spell, which we never got, mainly because we were so far away from being able to use it. This is gonna hit pretty differently. This room, which used to be a little intimidating, just isn't going to be anymore. There's that jar. Ritual pot. This one is waiting on the stair, you probably remember. Which isn't a big deal. So not a lot to this place, which makes sense. We're incredibly over leveled. What we're here for is this little secret area. We get the comet. Comet does a lot more damage than our comet shard. It also costs a lot more though in terms of magic points. So, you know, it's a trade-off. My thing is, if it's kind of a trash enemy, if it's some sort of just random junk, I would rather kill it in one hit than kind of dodge around throwing stuff at it. So yeah, I'm looking for the best charge shot I can get, which is this at the moment. And when you have the Radigan Talisman on, it's actually pretty fast cast time too. So yeah, it works. Now it'll be nice when we have a little more FP to work with. We are running a little low. That talisman will increase your casting damage by a percentage. I didn't find it was a big enough percentage. I mean, if you have extra slots, like for instance, if I'm going into a boss fight, I might ditch this, a difficult fight. I'd rather always have the bonus runes, but you know what I mean. You can trade off with these things, decide what's important for you. But I am definitely not about dropping that golden talisman. Now we have some possibilities. I'm not going to do them today. This is probably a Monday thing. But it probably is close to time for us to go around and kill some of these night enemies. Just to get the stuff they offer. Most of them, a lot of them won't be hard for us at this point. Like at all. So we'll just kind of steamroll them. We'll get their loot. Kind of do kind of a cleanup lap. There are a few that still will be hard. That maybe we'll, back off of. I'm not sure. Where are we at? 75. So this is a long distributed area where, our flask may not really do the job. Let's see what this hero's rune. See what the Newman's rune does. 12. So that's nice. We're almost should be like halfway. Yeah, we need another 9 runes. So for 9 runes, we're not going to do the hero, right? We'll do this. Let's take a 13, and we're done. I just don't want to get caught in the middle of this kind of linear area. Alright, so we put one on there. We said mind was next. We may regret it, but I think it's time to retire the rock sling. Now, as a warning, we will really be feeling the absence or the added cost of this spell. So I'm going to go back to this. And we may even tweak it further. Actually, yeah, let's tweak it further for this area. Okay. Because we will be using this quite a bit. So the gimmick here with this area, again, we're making our way to this secret lift, it's basically a straight line. We're walking on this kind of narrow ridge. And there are lots of those little enemies, the vulgar militia. They blend in, or just kind of turn up like that. They also jump well. As always, just kind of take your time. Most of them have blood on their weapons. You see that comet makes pretty short work of them. So don't get intimidated. It's kind of boring, but we're going to take our time here. If we look at these blood stains, people are charging into stuff. Like they see these 2 over here. They don't see the 2 over there. You see what I mean? Next thing you know, they're in some kind of, they're surrounded. Let's watch this guy again. Yeah, he rode his horse and jumped off a ledge. I'm not going to be doing a lot of horseback stuff here. It's not because I can't. It's because it's a bad idea. Now, why that became target unlocked, The only reason I'm not charging up my weapon is because I don't really need it. I did get a little sloppy there. I think there's some treasure up there. Yeah, it's probably nothing good. 7. 7s are nice. We'll take 7. There's another one up there. I don't know if you glimpsed it when we were walking around. And we'd walk up to it, but there's one on the other side. There it goes. So we ended up getting it to... shit. And this is why you take your time, because once like a bunch of them come at you, you need to kind of get aggressive and kill them before they surround you. Even if you got a good shield, like better than this one, like a great shield, they're still putting blood on, right? So you can block all day, and you're eventually going to get a bleed to hit. So you know, it's just not good. Now, something that might have worked is if I just stayed on the staff and kind of poked away with either Comet or even Night Comet. I'm comfortable with this kind of sword stuff, but you don't have to be. It's not necessarily the best way. I mean, look, at this point, we're at like level 100, so if you've been following around, you know the way you like to play. You know what you're comfortable doing, and you should do it. Like, I'm focusing on what helps me, what works for me. But, you know, for that kind of like minute-to-minute tactical stuff, you know your play style. The main point is you need to account for the fact that if you just start running, multiple things are going to come out of the woodwork and attack you, and it's probably going to be bad. So whatever your strategy is, you need to think about how you can keep that from happening to you. As always, you know, seeing blood is a good indicator that trouble's afoot, right? In this case, this is kind of a sketchy jump. You probably want to use your horse for it. But if you can lock on stuff in the distance, obviously you want to do that. Or at least I want to do that. I mean, more than anything, this is one of the reasons why we're doing magic. It's for stuff like that. There are other swords that aren't magic based where you can do range damage that is significant. Can you jump this on foot? Yes. Should you? You know, I don't know. I usually don't. There's another one. As always, there's just no reason to get in a hurry here. And we have plenty of blue flasks. Don't walk around with one spell's worth of FP. Just don't. There's no reason to. This one is a tougher jump. I'm just hitting target lock. And again, the blood on the ground is your friend. You know, keep looking for that. There's a lot of scarabs on the ground and hanging off of trees around here that are just junk. There's one lock. And they're a trick. They want you, to hit it once and then start chasing it. But if you look closely, that's a red scarab, which means it's just going to give you more health flasks. It's not going to give you an Ash of War. So, don't chase that thing. There's just no reason for it. Now that probably really is a militia guy. Yeah. My question is, where are the others? There's one. So I've switched to Comet so that I can be tactical, instead of doing this sniping stuff. Look at that. You see that? So that was pretty awesome. I think I can hear another one. Maybe it's just that. That was pretty exciting, wasn't it? Now, aren't you glad we've been investing in vigor? You're a glass cannon build. You just die from stuff like that. You're just dead. You can't afford to make any mistakes. And watching this, if you've never played before, you may think, oh, well, yeah, who would do that? That's crazy. But the reality is, tons of people do. You see it all the time. And if you ever get into player versus player, which isn't really my bag, but if you do a lot of it, there is a certain kind of character that does this glass cannon stuff, and they almost always, you can just tell they're not very experienced. Like, this is just their idea is like, well, I'll just dodge and I'll do a lot of damage. And I mean, more power to you. If you're that good, if you're good enough to never get hit, that's awesome. But I'm definitely not. I am going to get hit. I'm going to get hit a lot. Bosses are going to hit me. I'm going to walk into stupid stuff like that ambush there. Note over here, we have this spooky skull we can jump in. Don't worry. Your tip-off is that seed over there. It's my experience that you have to use the horse. There's a somber 7. Yeah, those are good. Probably. How are we doing? I think 3 is still our big, yeah. So we have 4. Golden seed. We get 1 more and we get a flask, and believe it or not, that will be probably the end of our flask journey. I think you can only get 14, which is where we are right now. Yeah, see, that's just a blue one. We're at the end anyway, I'm pretty sure. We should see Stake of Marika soon. Those things are actually there to give you a shot at the fight if you don't have a lot of flasks. Oh, why not just drink another one? It doesn't matter. We've been very diligent about... Alright, we've hit the stake. There it is. We should see that we can summon soon. Strong foe. Yeah, that's right. There we go. People say you can just run through and activate the grace. And that may be true. I don't actually know. I've always just fought this boss. We've got a stake here. We have our little flask. I've just never seen a reason to flee this kind of fight. Because you can just do it repeatedly and never lose anything. I use a shield for this fight. It's another... as always, it's guy moves around a lot, which makes it hard. But as you can see, he's not. If you stay right in his crotch, you can actually avoid a lot of damage. So we soaked that with our shield. Now he did stagger us. See, that kind of thing just isn't a big deal. You're better off. Just remember, you're better off being close. Those one-off hits, you can probably block them. When he starts doing that pinwheel stuff, it's a little different. I would just run away, probably. Those weapons are good if you have the right build for them. You know, it's not really our thing, but I consider them pretty good. It's probably worth trying to kill that other gargoyle at this point. You remember that? Way over in Caelid. We'll do that as part of our kind of cleanup tomorrow or Monday. Pretty dark here, isn't it? Can we level up? Yes, we can. More intelligence. Right now the circuit is vigor, mind, intelligence. At least until mind gets to 25, and then we'll reassess. 25 is probably our in-game state. So we're slowly but surely getting some of these stats to their kind of resting place for New Game. New Game Plus is a different deal. All right. Now this is a very, very challenging area, but it's also a very rewarding area. Um, as you know, the key part of this build is just, continuing to boost our survivability and power, so that we can, do well in Elden Ring without getting too frustrated. And we're going to definitely do a lot of that here. Here's our map. The area is larger than this, although this initial is accurate. We're going to be going over a very skinny kind of spine of a mountaintop. Now this is a very interesting encounter. One of the more interesting ones in the game. Is that Yuna? But Yuna is dead.
Finally, we meet the Tarnished, the would-be Lord. Oh my. Why the long face? that you were previously acquainted with this vessel. Well, that is most unfortunate. For he is dead. As for his flesh, he gave it to me. Shardbearer, I hope you can make your peace with that.
The famous Shardbearer.
You were about to sacrifice something precious, the life of a fair maiden, that you would toss into the fiery forge, only so that you may be lord. What a horrible thing to ponder. Your ascendancy requires her sacrifice, whether she wishes it or not. But how would the Lord, crowned so, be looked upon?
And you know, that's a legitimate question. One of the reasons I love the Frenzied Flame storyline is, even if I don't think it's the best ending, it's philosophically a lot more interesting than just preserving the status quo. Which, let's be honest, this is a world in ruins. You know, the cities are archaeological sites. They aren't cities. You know, this is a dead world. Why would we keep doing this? And he's right. Why would we set somebody on fire? You know, shouldn't we set ourselves on fire? That's a legitimate question.
Chosen, tarnished, and would-be lord, dare to tread the path of true rigor. Spare the poor girl, and singe your own flesh in her stead. If you are prepared to show resolve and attain lordship through righteous hardship, then heed the words of I, Shardbearer. Chosen, tarnished, ascend and seek audience with the three fingers and the flame of frenzy. If you inherit the flame of frenzy, your flesh will serve as kindling, and the girl can be spared, setting you on the righteous path of lordship, the path of the Lord of Chaos. Burn the Erd tree to the ground and incinerate all that divides and distinguishes. Ah, may chaos take the world. May chaos take the world.
So yeah. Yeah, for reasons I just said, that's why I think the Frenzied Flame ending is the second best ending in Elden Ring. I think there are only two good endings. Good, not necessarily because everything's great, but just, you know, philosophically thoughtful and satisfying for that reason. I think only two of those the endings are like that.
There is something I'd like to say. My purpose was given to me by my mother, but now I act of my own volition. I have set my heart upon the world that I would have, regardless of my mother's designs. I won't allow anyone to speak ill of that, not even you.
Although Melina, as we see here, insists that this is her idea, that she wants to do it. The first thing to do here is clear out this ruin here. Before we do that, I think I'm going to put some coffee on and It's actually time to feed the cat. So I'm going to take a 5-minute intermission here. So I'll see you guys in just a second. Okay, I'm back. Um, I should also warn you guys that my wife might call and need a ride, and if she does, obviously, I'm gonna have to drop this. So, it's Saturday. We're just kind of it's a very casual time here. Um, we're gonna clear out these ruins here, and that it's kind of tough. These enemies, um, they're very durable. They dodge very well. I think they resist ice also, which means our sword is going to feel pretty underpowered. Of course, these damage from these charged night comet shots isn't what I would call amazing. They're just that tanky. They're worth a lot of XP, which is nice. But as always, the recipe is going to be taking our time. Certainly trying not to aggro more than one at once. There's the snow version of the Stormhawks over here. I recommend a charged comet shot for that. But of course, you're going to get ambushed. Oh wow. Sorry guys. Looks like my wife is ready to go. So that's it for today. When we come back, we'll finish up this ruin right here. And see what else the mountaintop of the Giants has in store for us. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Bye.